Hello, everybody. You know that's Crepe Aerosmith featuring Beck. Tobacco here, KRFF 95.9. RadioFreeFargo.org. We're streaming everywhere on this blue and green marble. We can get into your ear hole, and I know I enjoy doing it, and so does everybody else on this radio station. Bringing you awesome programming, not just today with Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. That's me. Not just today. Thursdays, 4 o'clock I get in here. 4:20, I open a big bag of cannabis news. That's going to happen. I'm going to throw a couple side weird stories in there as well. But thanks for tapping in with me. We got a fun hour ahead of us. So stay tuned. I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit, and I show him props every Sunday. Antioch Church, 417 Main Avenue. 10 a.m., we do a recovery class. If you got a monkey on your back, or you've kicked that monkey off your back, but you could feel that little banana eater pulling, tugging, gripping at your pant leg, come on through. 11 a.m. worship. This show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy. Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook. 1,200 mgs of locally grown hemp whipped up into a tub of other fun stuff for your outer body. Thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy, for sponsoring this show. It's a beautiful day here in Fargo, Moorhead. It's a little on the warm side, but we go into the moon with this weather business. We go into the moon. Apparently tomorrow going to be around 97. And us fair weather people up here, we like it cold. That's just the way it is. And I certainly don't like it really hot. But anyway, 4:20, we'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news. Stick with me for that. Again, it's lovely to be with you guys. I am happy to be alive. Somebody gifted me a floor air conditioner, which is going to just sticks in the window. And I'm going to get that fired up tonight because apparently I'm going to need it. And I don't like it hot, you know. I don't like it hot. But anyway, you're listening to Radio Free Fargo, 95.9 KRFF, LP Community Radio. You a business owner? You a manager? You got a nonprofit organization hanging around? Considering advertising? Why not learn what underwriting is on a nonprofit community radio station instead? To learn more about what underwriting is, please contact us at our website, www.radiofreefargo.org, or at our profile on Facebook. Why not let listeners know that you support a community by supporting a community radio station like 95.9. Again, in the mornings, you have Trav Does Country, 10 a.m. Then you've got Automation, spelled with a P. Fred. He's the AI robot that's spinning music when a human ain't doing it. After me, it's usually Stinky Arts Music Mart. I think he might still be traipsing around Europe. So, I don't know. Him and I aren't on a group thread. I don't know what he's up to be honest. So, it could be Stinky Arts Music Mart today. It could not be. We got mixtape and other things on Thursday. Again, don't forget Fridays or Saturdays or the other days of the week. New Economic Frontier, that's the group leading the charge with the legalization measure that will be on the ballot. As far as we know, August. All right. Gabe's going to bust my chops here because I don't have it in front of me right now. But I'm going to go with August 12th. I'm feeling like it could be 15th too, but we're going to go with August 12th. Till the Secretary of State has to say yay or nay to the signatures. Everybody comes with full confidence. They implemented a vetting process that, limits the chances of them going, well, we had to throw them all out. And I remember like way, way, way back in the day, like even pre-Measure 3, it seemed to me like there was this nefarious signature gathering. And I don't want to say it was a group of football players from a certain place. I don't want to say it. But I feel like something happened there where they had to throw out all these signatures due to, they just weren't very vigilant in vetting the signatures. New Economic Frontier promises that they've done that, and I believe them. And so I think we're going to have it on the ballot. So like I said, you're going to want to get out. You're going to want to talk. You want to let people know that it's happening, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's people that don't. But, again, New Economic Frontier, we're looking forward to seeing that on the ballot. Cannabis legalization. We'll talk about it more. But, again, New Economic Frontier has gathered enough signatures. I mean, and why you don't know that, I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, they did gather enough signatures, and they're waiting for the Secretary of State to confirm the validity of the signatures. Well, I'm going to jump into some music, and then we're going to come back and talk about this depressed bear in Florida that people keep trying to take selfies with. Florida Sheriff's Office warns against taking selfies with depressed bear. And, I mean, if it wasn't for him telling us, where would we be in this world? I mean, if it wasn't for sheriffs being so, they could just see ahead, I feel. Like they're wizards. They know, like, well, maybe you shouldn't get close to a depressed bear. Maybe he's hungry. That's why he's depressed. And you come sallying up like a tomahawk steak on a hot summer day with A1. Anyway, here's Street People, brand new, Luther Dickinson, 95.9. Man, that's some tasty guitar stuff there. That tone is completely different, but it's certainly kind of, it's expected out of Luther Dickinson. Street People, that's brand new blues, and it sure was bluesy. 95.9 KRFF, RadioFreeFargo.org. You're listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. That's me, Wilson, on a beautiful Thursday here in the upper MW. Wherever you are, I hope life is going good for you. 420, we'll open a big bag of cannabis news. But as I've been telling y'all, I've been kind of letting you down easy. I'm going to fade out the cannabis thing here. Most likely, well, I sign up a new thing in October. So I'm thinking about that. And again, I think I'm going to call it What in the World. And I'm going to drop out crazy news stuff. As crazy as I can get it. As crazy as I can. Interspersed with, some jazz, just so you can tell yourself, how cultured you are at the family gatherings. You can learn a little something. You're like, I'm into jazz. I can snap my fingers. And I heard it all on Wilson's show. And I'll be glad to take the credit. But anyway, again, I'm just kind of bored. I feel like it's ran its course. And so I need to change it up so my brain is a little bit happier about it. So again, in a few months, Canna-Talk ND, as you know it, will switch into a new phase. And some of those things will include stuff like this. This is from UPI. Florida's Sheriff's Office warns against taking selfies with depressed bear. And again, I mean, where would we be without this sage wisdom? Because I don't know how many times I've wanted to, I'm like, I don't know, should I steer clear? I mean, and then this Florida county sheriff is like, hey, I told you, to steer clear. All right, so members of the public were seen trying to snap selfies with a depressed bear at the side of a highway. Now, again, I got questions, I guess. He hanging out on Highway 98, and this picture shows him just literally chilling. And it seems to me like he's literally chilling with his genitalia presented to the drivers, which and passengers of these vehicles. So I don't know. I wish he was, a little more modest. But, I'm still praying for him. Depression's rough. The Walton County Sheriff's Office said on social media the bear was spotted late last week on the north side of Highway 98 near County Road 83. Famous last words, if not friend, why friend-shaped, the post said, because this black bear is stressed, depressed, lemon zest. Well, that's fun. I kind of like that. The Sheriff's Office said members of the public were seen getting dangerously close to the bear to take selfies. He's clearly not in the mood for pictures, says the post. The bear has shown signs of severe stress. The Sheriff's Office said a Florida fish and conservative guy responded to the scene, but the bear wandered back into the woods on his own. Please do not approach black bears. And apparently officials wrote that in capital letters. Just, so you know that they're serious. Especially those that are showing aggression like this big fella. So again, what have we learned here today, folks? Don't take pictures with depressed bears. And again, I mean, are you a stinking bear therapist? Are you inside the bear's head, bruh? I mean, I can't get inside a bear's head. Oh, yeah, the bear, he looks like he's suffering some dissociative stuff there. Sure. Yeah, you betcha. It looks like he's, what is he, bipolar? See what I did there? I just made a joke. Bipolar. Get it? The bear? Oh, I should be a comedian. And here's another one. This is fun. This is a shout out to my brother today in Seattle. CBP officers in Seattle seize illegal drugs twice in 1 week from the same traveler at the same airport. And the reason I bring this one up is because they seized pounds of ketamine, codeine, and gamma hydroxybutyrate, which is basically the date rape drug known as GHB. So, I mean, man, we can get pounds of the rape drug out. Yeah, I feel like that guy should just keep coming through so we can just, at some point we're going to just weaken the supply. Border Protection said it had seized illicit drugs from the same traveler twice in 1 week at a Seattle airport. He was trying, he came in okay, let me start over. He was a traveler who entered the United States from Europe, then tried to return not long after getting released from jail, only to be caught again with drugs at the same airport. So is he bringing it to us and then leaving with it? I don't know. He was arrested and turned over to the Port of Seattle police. Well, that's exciting. So SeaTac, keeping the world safe. I mean, because like I said, 3 ounces of GHB, that's quite a bit. All right, well, we're going to play some tunes. 95.9, Radio Free Fargo. Here's Tower of Dabble, the Haas. Tower of Babel, 95.9. And that's how you set up a show, Tower of Babel. The Haas Company on 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. It's 420. It's time to open a big fat bag of cannabis news. Hang out with us, won't you? Peace.
Hey, it's Phil from Cannaheads. Like this episode? Hit that like button. And if you enjoy the show, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on cannabis news, local and national. Listen live on 95.9 in the Fargo, North Dakota region from 4 to 5 p.m. on Thursday. For our non-Fargo region friends, you can listen on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Now enjoy the show.
Hello. Howdy. Hey, everybody, wake up. It's time to do it. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson, 420. Welcome to it. Again, North Dakota, New Economic Frontier. They have gathered the signatures, and I just checked. It's August 13th that the Secretary of State's got to tell us. Last day for the Secretary of State to approve is August 13th. And now, if you signed the petition, make sure you you keep an eye on your mailbox for a verification postcard from the Secretary of State office. So when you go out to your mailbox and you see that, do your duty. Fill it out. Do whatever you got to do. I don't know, make a cowboy hat out of it. I'm not really sure what you do, but I'm sure it'll tell you. All right. This here is from KFGO. North Dakota law enforcement holds mixed feelings about legalizing cannabis. Now, this is an interesting article. This is an interesting title. El Caparinos have been no bueno on the cannabiso out the gate. Okay, they have never said anything about not sure about what they think. They certainly haven't hesitated on their anti-cannabis stance until now, until today. I don't know. Is today the 25th? Yes. I mean, they probably felt that way before the 25th, but that's when this article came out. Now, again, North Dakota law enforcement holds mixed feelings about legalizing cannabis. And, I mean, it's a pretty big body. It's a protective body. It's a body that the state usually, it's indicative of how safe you feel, and their impression of what they think is bad or good. The layperson usually defers out to law enforcement for safety and protection. All right. That's kind of their moniker. All right. So when they promote vehemently against cannabis, well, it's going to matter. It's going to matter. Now, when they come out and say they're not sure, well, that changes a little thing, my friends. That changes things. It does. To the general public. I mean, for the percentage of people that's already locked into the cheat codes of cannabis's ability to alleviate a lot of things that pharmaceutical companies that add a bunch of junk and are all greedy, profit-based can do, when you realize that it can step in for a lot of that junk that they want you to put in your body. And again, we just always associate medical with a separate thing. But if something medical can also be recreational, it's also medicine. I mean, it makes recreational safer, I feel. I feel like it's like having a floaty in the pool. You're having fun, but you might just drown, so have a floaty. I feel like cannabis is kind of like that floaty a little bit. It's healthy enough, and you can still enjoy it. So let's get into this. The leader of an effort to legalize cannabis says the proposal would free up law enforcement resources to focus on more serious drugs. And I agree with that. I've always argued that the cops have enjoyed that low-hanging fruit for their influx of monies. And again, it's easier to bust a compliant cannabis consumer than a tweaked-out crackhead that's up in a tree with no clothes on in some neighbor's yard throwing stars at you. An officer's much happier pulling over a guy who also has a job that can pay for his paraphernalia charge. All right? So I've always felt that cops have always protested against the legalization because they love the money they got. And I'm still not convinced that's not the case. Because we live in a world of spin. So, just because they say it, right? I don't know. But law enforcement officials interviewed by the North Dakota Monitor have mixed reactions. Burleigh County Sheriff said he's heard from officers in states that have legalized cannabis that it leads to more work for law enforcement. And here's what always bothers me. That's a great sentence, okay? Explain it now. Not explain it. What more work? What more work? Don't you feel like you're leaving something out? I've heard from state officers that says it's more work. Okay? And what's the more work? So it's I hate that because you basically you're not backing anything by facts. You just want me to go blindly in with this Burleigh County Sheriff. I got to just blindly believe that you're right. I think what we have to remember is people aren't going to jail for minor cannabis convictions. Those days are over. And by the time somebody ends up in jail on a minor drug charge like that, there's extensive other criminal activity in the background there. However, Stark County Sheriff Corey Lee, he's in favor of the proposed ballot measure, which is still under review by the Secretary of State. He says it is such a prevalent item in today's society, and obviously we're right next door to Montana. Recreational cannabis has been legal in Montana since 2022, and it's now legal in Minnesota. It's going to be on the ballot in South Dakota and, of course, Canada. All right, now, the North Dakota Sheriffs and Deputy Association, they opposed the previous cannabis measure in 2022, but has not yet taken a position on the new proposal. That tells, I think that's phenomenal. And I think it kind of tells you the temperature of this whole, and just who's in charge of it. And, Steve Bakken, he's a commissioner. He's up in there like he's drinking coffee with these people. I suppose they see each other as peers. Well, if he's for it, his peers can be down too. It just becomes okay for these people who actually make the decisions to be for it. And the fact that the cops haven't vehemently opposed it yet, man. So and now that was the sheriffs. Now the Chief of Police Association, they also opposed it in 2022, but also has not yet taken a position on the new measure. So, Steve Bakken, he's the chair of the sponsoring committee. He has said he's got to see up close how police departments and the judicial system deal with cannabis crimes during his time as Bismarck mayor. See, so like I said, this whole push by this group was, we're going to see what happens. And I believe this might be the convincing factors when cops, that, like I said, where the general lay people kind of defer to when they go, well, is this bad or not? The cops are out there. They're dealing with it. They should know. All of a sudden, they're like, I don't know. It's awesome. So a minor cannabis offense is not where we should be putting our resources. Go after opioids, go after fentanyl, which is kind of the same, but, we'll let it slide, Steve. The things that kill people. Well, he's right there. The things that kill people. That's, but again, booze and tobacco, they be killing people. So they're just, I don't understand it. More than 2,300 criminal cases filed in 23 involved only cannabis. So far in 2024, 1,300, but we're only in July. So it's about the same, And I don't understand, they don't say more about it. Is it just so much, because where does the minor start to major, And as a side note, I'll say Dallas, they are going to vote on 4 ounces decriminalized. And I didn't realize that 2 ounces had already been decrimmed in Dallas. You know, the Texas is still anti-cannabis, but Dallas, big state or big town. And so 4 ounces up to, so I don't know what it is in North Dakota, but, would a criminal case be considered as an ounce? I don't know. I mean, I forget what decrim is. Maybe it is over. I forget. I can't read. I'm not too smart. The ballot petition, which is undergoing verification. All right, so they have until August 12th. Did I say 13th? I was right the first time. All right, so Lee said many of the state's attorneys in southwest North Dakota have not been prosecuting offenses. He said he thinks the measure should pass this time because people can already take a quick trip across the border to purchase it. And again, I feel like, if we voted in, I feel like some people think, well, then I'm vocally saying to everybody, I'm okay with it here in North Dakota. But again, the benefits from the taxes, and again, what we need, what I need to convince you to vote no is proof of the degradation of these societal living conditions within these states that have been legalized the longest. Give me some stinking stats, and why aren't you using them? Why aren't the anti-people coming with basic facts, real facts, like facts? I can get you facts for fentanyl, Like I said, you can do videos of the degradation of fentanyl. But I need some stats. You can't just, Now, here's one thing he's possibly right. I know a lot of people disagree with that, primarily because of what happened in Colorado. And again, what happened in Colorado? I mean, be a little more forthright with your blanket statements. You just like, I know a lot of people, but especially you heard what happened in Colorado, right? No, I haven't heard what's happening. I don't think that's fair. What's fair? I mean, what are you talking about? When it first made cannabis recreational, of course, people flocked there in huge numbers, but you're not going to see that here. Well, that's a good point. I mean, people did go to Colorado, but again, I don't know. I don't know. Are they not paying taxes? These people, they're not buying nothing? I get some are homeless, but they're homeless everywhere. We're not, Okay, so Lee also said the measure would take power away from the black market drug dealers by giving consumers an official option that would benefit the state through tax revenue. Now, granted, it would benefit the state through tax revenue, but man, as somebody who was an addict for 20 plus years, I don't like saying 30, but it was probably closer to 30, but I'm going to just go with 20 plus. Y'all good with that? We're going to go with 20 plus, all right? So as an addict for 20 plus. Black market drug dealers, I'm not saying they're smarter than a lot of politicians and smarter than a lot of legislators or even cops, but there's some sneaky ingenuity when it comes to the fluidity of black market moving. All right? If the war on drugs was smarter than the business models of these black market guys, we'd have won a lot of weed. They'd have won a long time ago. All right? So I'm not sure what power you take away from an inventive mind dead set on breaking the rules. When you're a professional rule breaker, bruh, you're just going to diversify. Okay. Also, it can be written and regulated how, where, and when it's used. So I think we have learned a lot from the states that have had it for years now. Now, keep in mind, this guy's a cop talking, I think. Let me make sure. Yeah, we're still talking about Sheriff Corey Lee here. So here's what I'm reading to y'all on 95.9 Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Is a cop this is a cop telling everybody why they should vote for this cannabis measure, New Economic Frontier, in November. Isn't that crazy? That's a turn for me. I never thought I would see this article. When I seen this article right before the show, and I realized this could be my linchpin discussion because of how awesome it feels. I realize these quotes are coming from the very groups that were adamantly against it in the past. Adamantly. Now we're hearing Ziegler, speaking for himself and not the city of Mandan, of course, he's opposed to the measure. He believes cannabis to be an addictive drug and a gateway to other substances. And that's what he believes. Doesn't mean he's right. It doesn't mean he's right. And it affects everybody differently. I mean, a lot of times I think people think, well, they enjoy something and when it's gone, they're kind of bummed out. Is that addiction? If you're not robbing Steve's package to get more, I don't know. I've been an addict, and I can assure you, cannabis does not keep me awake at night thinking like, oh no, what have I done? But again, as a Christian, I mean, the way I come at cannabis is completely different as I used to. So, I still advocate for its usage. I don't smoke it. But there's certainly cannabinoids I couldn't do without. I mean, CBN is a rock star, and cannabis has its place. So it's interesting. So when asked if he was worried the state might become an island, this guy goes, sometimes being on an island is not a bad thing. And again, these are, they're okay. But, I mean, this guy, would he like more money in the coffers? No matter what you have a criminal nexus to it. And again, he's right. It really doesn't matter. This is more about taxes and the people wanting it. The people want it, and you can be begrudging. You can go, okay, the people want it. However, we get taxes, and there's no real reported states of despair. There's no despondency. I mean, I'm not so sure cannabis is the reason we've got all these issues in L.A. and the Tenderloin and whatever. I would argue it's fentanyl. All right? So every state you go that has legalized it. So here's this other thing. He worries about the creep of cannabis use normalization, in which even though the measure restricts cannabis use to private property, it becomes more prevalent in public. Every state you go that has legalized it, it happens in public because eventually it just becomes commonplace. Again, smells are commonplace. I mean, go to India and shop at one of them open markets. I mean, you're still going to go there for a bracelet, but you can't tell me you don't smell the cow poop, right? So it's commonplace in the Indian markets, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, and I've certainly been to places. My daughter was in Vegas for a teacher's thing. I mean, half of them were giggling in a half hour just standing outside, like I was in St. Louis, same deal. I mean, we're talking like I was finding roaches in the ashtrays just like cigarettes, so, and there's definitely a smell. But I personally, I'll take the smell all day long in Illinois. Get rid of the humidity, bruh. I mean, you guys figure out how to smoke out that humidity. I get on board with the stink, but until I can wear one shirt all day without needing to change 6 times. Fix that humidity problem, Missouri. And then we could talk about the smell maybe. You know what I'm saying? All right, well, that's, man, I'm really sitting in this thing. Let me see if we got anything. Other groups that have opposed cannabis in the past are the Greater North Dakota Chamber. They expect to discuss the issue in November, so our members decide if we take a stance. The North Dakota Sheriff's and Deputies Department has sent the ballot measure to sheriff departments across the state for the review. The North Dakota Motor Carriers Association, which represents more than 250 members of the whatever, it does not support the use of cannabis due to safety concerns on the state's roadways. But again, it's ignorance. I mean, you can do too much of anything. I would argue if you ate too much food, you could be drowsy. If you don't get enough sleep, you could be impaired for sure. And that's what they don't put here. They go impairment of any kind, whether due to alcohol, meds, or other substances, poses a significant risk. But they don't talk about texting and just sleep deprivation and distractions. Those are all impairments. And if it helps you focus, like I said, I've driven thousands and thousands and thousands of miles utilizing cannabis to not die. I mean, ADHD is kind of tricky when you're driving. You should be you should be paying attention. You shouldn't be underneath the seat looking for your contact case. All right. Well, let's move on. Again, I got excited because It seems to me like we're just at a different temperature here in our state when the cops are not opposing it. All right, this cannabis moment. 14 months after, well, let's see if we got anything fun to talk about, because we're getting to the end here. This is South Dakota Searchlight. Ex-trooper, now a cannabis grower, wants answers on fake weed in action. Former Highway Patrol leader says cannabis posing as hemp breaks existing laws. And Allen wasn't just a cop. He was a very important cop, the kind of cop that gets awards and stuff. Now he grows cannabis for a living. The shock of seeing Welsh in a room full of cannabis without a badge, without a badge on his chest, or a story to tell about a massive bust can be hardly overstated. He served 28 years with the Highway Patrol. He was one of the top leaders for the patrol. Regular news readers or viewers heard from Welsh frequently. In 2012, he was quoted in a story about a saturation patrol that led to a seizure of 295 pounds of cannabis. Well, he's our Paul into Saul, isn't he? Now he's a partner in a Dakota Herb, a company with grow operations that produce much cannabis on a regular basis. Crazy. There are times Welsh has shocked himself, like during a recent tour of an herb facility in T, South Dakota. How awesome is that? When he walked into a room filled with clear plastic bags of dried cannabis. When I was in law enforcement, I'd have gone crazy seeing this. Well, shout out Welsh and welcome to the club. All right? And so how did Welsh go from an avowed enemy of the devil's lettuce to a purveyor of pot for medical patients? Well, let's talk about it. You know, you're going to find this hard to believe what he did. He did his own research. Whoa. He looked into it. Shut up. And he kind of changed his mind. Why? Because he researched it. He looked into it. He researched. He looked into it. It all began with his first policing gig. He was hired to manage security for a trucking company. After a few years, the owners asked Welsh about cannabis. Voters in South Dakota were set to approve. Welsh said no, but Johnson persisted. So Welsh started reading. And there, the medical uses to consider, sure, but Welsh's cannabis come to Jesus moment came by comparing its relative impact on public safety without that of alcohol. This product has a horrible reputation and a stigma associated with it, and it's all crap, in my opinion. Man, he said, I used to be a bouncer, and I never broke up a fight between two potheads. So, I mean, just kind of think about that. So then, what issues come from, you know, like, I don't know why they make blanket statements like, you know, you don't want the problem that happened over there. Well, what problem? So, there you have it. Shout out Welsh. What else we got to tell you about? DeSantis, he's got something fun to say. This is from Cannabis Moment. Speaking at police event, DeSantis famously claims that most in Colorado regret legalizing cannabis. All right, well, let's look at that then. I feel like I accidentally got a theme happening here, but today. But anyway, we're coming up to a close here. And Governor Ron Ron. Now, this is also going to be voted on in Florida, South Dakota, and North Dakota. It's beautiful. South Dakota, man, we'll see. That's a tight race. I mean, because it's just, I don't know. Everybody's protesting. So, DeSantis says it has been tried. All right? He said that most people in Colorado regret it. Okay? Despite recent polling results showing otherwise. Okay. I mean, I'm confused. Let me start over with this, okay? He says that most people, we'll just say almost all of them, right? In Colorado regret legalizing it. Despite polling of a lot of people in Colorado, okay? It shows otherwise. So what? What? You just canceled yourself out, bruh. You tell me most of them regret it, but then the majority of a poll says they don't regret it. Well, what are you talking about, buddy? So, he insisted that in Colorado, most people there regret that it happened. Okay? That claim is, however, false, at least according to a survey. Nearly a decade after voters approved, more than 67% of the voters in Colorado said they see the reform as a positive change for the state. A separate recent survey included by Public Policy Polling, PPP, found that more than 7 in 10, 71% Colorado voters think cannabis should be legal and regulated similarly to alcohol, while less than a quarter say they believe it should be prohibited. The results indicate that people have become even more supportive since 55% of voters approved the reform on the ballot in 2012. So, cannabis use is going to be a broader right than your First Amendment right to free speech. Your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's not going to be good for law and order. It's not going to be good for quality of life. Oh, governor says he has credibility on the issue because he has helped implement the state's voter-approved medical cannabis. Okay, I mean, if you prove its medical worth, why can't you medically use it recreationally if the harm doesn't match the whatever? And he predicted that law enforcement is not going to just want to deal with it at all. Deal with what? All right? Is already here in Florida, but in a dangerous form, often laced with unwanted chemicals. All right? Amendment 3 is really about choosing freedom and safety over arrest and dangerous products. Okay? It also means simple cannabis arrests, giving Floridians the same individual freedoms that more than half of Americans enjoy. And I'm with you. I'm with you, Brett. Now, Massachusetts, if you live there, anybody live there out there? Call in. No, just kidding. I mean, you can. I'm afraid of the phones. I get so anxious when a phone call comes in. Just even in my life. When that phone rings, I freak. Massachusetts regulators moved to extend cannabis delivery hours and remove two-driver rule to make it easier for cannabis delivery operators to operate. It's a long time in the making. I know there are folks in the room, I don't know who she's talking to, have patiently been waiting, and now they are here with us today. Let's see. Two-driver rule doubled their cost for each delivery, you know. But, I mean, there's safety in numbers. So anyway, let's check out the time window. They increased the time window from 7 a.m. to 11 instead of 8 a.m. to 9. So 11 o'clock, that's kind of cool because you could be chilling, you know, like at a dinner thing, and you're like, you know, that'd be cool, and you could call in. Anyway, your fun homework lesson, if you want, is to Google $30,000 in jail commissary. Apparently in Grant County, this guy was selling synthetic cannabis-soaked papers in jail. And him and his cohorts, the two other people on the outside, are looking at life without parole. I mean, I get the whole, like, cops are like, how dare you do this under our nose, we're going to punish you. But it is, I mean, and synthetic stuff can be gnarly, but still, you know what I'm saying? Well, thank you, folks, for sticking with me on another rabble-rousing version of Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Music on 95.9 KRFF LP Radio Free Fargo has been underwritten by Orange Records. Orange Records offers a variety of new and used music on vinyl, CD, as well as large numbers of posters, DVDs, and much more. They got incense. Orange Records, I added that for fun. Orange Records buys used vinyl, CDs, and cassettes. Orange Records is located at 641 First Avenue North in downtown Fargo. They're open 11 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Saturday, closed on the Lord's Day. Search Orange Records Fargo on Facebook for updates on new arrivals and special events. What I also want to say is we depend on your contributions to pay our bills. Underwriting and show sponsorship just covers a little bit. We're community, nonprofit radio. We volunteer. So we don't receive any government funding. We get no grant money. So please consider making Radio Free Fargo a part of your regular monthly giving. Even $5 helps. Break us off a little Bitcoin. Simply go to www.radiofreefargo.org and make your contribution via our donation button. To all those who have given already, gracias. And to those who will, gracias. Please tell others about it. Why keep a good thing to yourself? You can like us on Facebook, follow us on IG, listen live 24/7, 365 online. Click on the Listen Live button. And you can check me out, too. About 9 days after this show airs, you can go back to the archives. And I'm going to play some music for you. What do we got? We got brand new stuff? Of course we do. This is the Six-Leg Fire-Breathing Dog by Greg. I don't know if it's Koch or Cock. Six-Legged Fire-Breathing Dog, 95.9. Oh, yeah, Six-Legged Fire-Breathing Dog for your ear hole, Greg Koch. That's brand new. Or Koch. Or Coach. I'm not really sure. I mean, I know the Greg is right because, well, no, I can't tell you. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm Wilson. I'm at the tail end of this thing. Next Thursday, I'll be back in Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Again, educate others on new economic frontiers, legalization measure to be voted on fingers crossed in November. August 12th, Secretary of State will tell us whether or not it will be. But again, if I was a betting person, I'd put all my money on it. Being on the ballot. So I would definitely expect it. And so talk about it. Tell people about it. And if you've signed the measure and you get something in your mail, do what it tells you to do. All right? So, I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit. Again, I show him props every Sunday, 417 Main Avenue. 10 a.m. we do a recovery class. If you've got a monkey on your back or you've kicked said monkey off your back, but you can feel that little banana eater pulling on your pant or leg, I believe the Holy Ghost inside you can keep you clean. That's what I do, but I'm a weirdo. Just FYI. All right. This show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy. Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook. Black Cottage Alchemy has 1,200 MIGs of locally grown hemp whipped up into a tub with other fun stuff like colloidal, comfrey, ylang. Party for your outer body. It's an outer body party for your skin. Thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy, for sponsoring this show. I don't know if Stinky Arts Music Mart is on deck. If it is, then it is. Feel me? But otherwise, I think you might still be on the Euro rail. Being all Euro trashy. Again, educate yourselves on the benefits of cannabis so you can educate others on said benefits. I'll be back in next Thursday. But until then, here's Judgment Day. David Allen. Peace.